see. Charles, we don't hear the music anymore, but I think that's fine. I can do an overlay. So essentially, this is a video we made of all of these frames that people made on social media with their kids in them. And it's just a very powerful way we thought to start this off, because you can just see the breadth of these beautiful children around the world. You'll notice that there's a bunch of different languages here. This is representing families across Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, really everywhere around the world. And you'll see these screens that are popping up are shared awareness raising around the world with all of our global partners. And you see all the logos at the bottom there. We wanted to start by really honoring the fact that we have this, and Charles, if you could play it again, start that over just so we can have it running again. But you can see there's really a wide range of countries that are coming together to work on this. And this is really why we started the Global Alliance, recognizing that there are amazing active parents who want to do something in many countries around the world. And we are all coming together to say, we want to do this together. We want to collaborate and make sure that we are not stepping on each other's toes, that we're coordinating our efforts, that we're really thinking, how do we work most strategically? And so we really want to honor all of the partners that we have working with us, who are truly sharing this vision that we can collaborate for a cure. So SCN8A Brazil, Portugal, Spain, Italy, France, Brazil, let's say, UK and Ireland. There's the European Federation, and China. So it's really this fantastic. And what's that?
Holland, I'm sorry, Netherlands.
Netherlands. Yeah, I said Netherlands, I think. So anyway, we wanted to really highlight that for everybody here. So that's just a nice way to get started and open. So let's start. We mark every February 9th, was not chosen as a date for no particular reason. Charles, I stopped it. Okay, yeah, thank you. So we chose February 9th, not for just any reason, but it is actually Shay Emma Hammer's birthday. So next slide. Today we are marking what would have been Shay's 28th birthday. And that is a really powerful thing, I'm sure, Michael, for you to be thinking about what today is for you. Maybe, how are you feeling? Let's start by checking in with you.
Oh, hello, everyone. It's always a mixed blessing. I mean, it's a wonderful day and it's a hard day, of course, as you can all imagine. And some of you probably have the same experience that I do. But I always feel empowered on this day. You know, I feel like Shay's energy is shining through. And I'm always amazed, given that it is Awareness Day, that so many people around the world know about Shay and care about this whole project that we're working on to find a cure to make our lives better, make our children and our loved ones' lives better. And I just take a step back and look at how much progress we've made in the last 10 years. It's just astounding. So I feel good in that sense. I really do. I miss Shay, but I feel she's here with me every moment. In fact, I was in public the other day and I was in a line and there was a woman, a couple of people ahead of me in the line, and she looked very familiar. And I said, hello, hi. And she said, you look familiar. Who are you? And I say, Shay's dad. And she said, oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. It was Shay's middle school teacher from 7th and 8th grade. Her name is Maria. And she just said, oh, I think about Shay all the time. And she has her own issues. She has a daughter with autism, severe autism, but she was Shay's teacher years ago. And it was just another person who was strongly impacted by Shay. And she held her arm out. She says, look, I've got these teeth marks in my arm. And I look at these teeth marks. They're Shay's teeth marks. And I look at them all the time and just look up and say, thank you, Shay, for everything. And really what happened was Shay used to come to middle school, and every day the principal of the school, Shay would come in and he'd go, "Come on, Kate, Shay, kiss me on the cheek, kiss me on the cheek." And Shay would go give him a big kisser right on the cheek. And just another person who got a kiss from Shay and made their day. And one day she came in and she was really aggravated. She was having a bad day and she was rah, rah, rah. And Maria saw it coming, but the principal still said, "Shay, come and give me a kiss right on the cheek." And Shay was coming at him with her teeth bared. And Maria stuck her arm in just in time to defend the principal's cheek. And meantime, she got a big bite in her arm, and she knows how to deal with kids because she has an autistic daughter. And she pushed Shay's head a little bit into her arm, and then Shay released. But she left Maria with a wonderful mark on her arm. And as someone said, Shay has left her mark.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'd do anything to have those teeth marks in my arm, frankly.
Oh. Yeah, no, it's such a powerful story. And it's so powerful to know that Shay has left her mark in so many ways on so many people. I mean, the fact that teacher still thinks about Shay, and anytime she looks at her arm,
And she
can
shared
remember
this picture, right?
Yes,
Yes,
and then she
right,
said,
right.
"I have this picture that, and I've never seen it." So it was good to see a new picture of Shay because we can't take any more. So it's a limited supply, and it's always great to get a new one.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Well, thanks for sharing that story with us. I mean, I think it's just so beautiful. And we feel Shay's legacy. It's very clear that she is you're honoring her, and she is working through you together on this mission to really collaborate with as many people as we can, researchers, clinicians, pharmaceutical partners, to find better care, treatments, and quality life for kids with SCN8A. So we love you, Shay, and we're so glad that we get your dad to work with us. We're all working together here. So we also wanted to recognize that, just before Awareness Day, we got news that beautiful Ivy, who is 8 years old and lived in Australia, who's been on this journey with us for a long time. We found each other pretty early on, that she passed away this week peacefully. And obviously this is such a terrible moment for her family, but they are choosing to remember and honor, Laura and Glenn, her parents, talked about how we use words like inspiring and resilient. She actually I saw recently won a resilience award at school, and fought with a lot of courage and was a powerful and respected member of her family and community. So we also just wanted to pause for a minute and honor Ivy and those who came before her too. She is sadly not the only one who has passed away with SCN8A recently, but wanted to just pause for a minute and honor her. And we certainly honor all of the others who have left us far too soon. So thank you for giving us a minute there to just kind of share that story. We wanted to move in, and just so everybody is aware, this is different than some of the meetings we run. Some of the meetings we run, everybody is on screen together. This is a different format today. It's the webinar. So really, it's just the people who are speaking that are going to be projected on the screen, and everybody else is off camera. You're muted. So don't worry if you're doing laundry or whatever, we can't see you or hear you. But today we just wanted to kind of we'll be bringing people in and on to speak with us throughout the meeting today. So just stay tuned, sit back, relax. If you are in Europe, grab a beer. I mean, you can grab a beer here in the US if you want to. I won't say anything, but it is technically Friday night there. So all right. So we're going to move forward and share, in preparation for actually, Charles, can you go back and pull up the pictures of the kids that we have? Keep going. Yeah. So we wanted to really hear from the community and ask about, what it is that, it looks like, Charles, do you want to take a minute and maybe fix those slides? And maybe we'll come back to that.
I didn't realize we were doing it.
So why
Sorry.
don't we stop and we'll come back to those in a minute. So stop the screen share, Charles, and if you can go in and fix those pictures, that would be great. And we'll come back we'll come back to that in a minute. Yeah, so I think, one of the things that we wanted to make sure we mentioned today is that this is actually 10 years since we started original foundation, Wishes for Elliot, that Jayed and I started when Elliot was about 1, and we were trying to figure out what the heck was going on and got this diagnosis. And there was, I actually Googled Elliot's mutation, and the internet said, we have no results for you. There was nothing. So, we very quickly found Michael, and whose lab had made the discovery of the gene in 2011. This was in 2012 when we got our diagnosis. So it was brand new. There were just a few people in the world that were known to have this disorder. And we said, great, let's start working together. So Michael and Jayetta and I have actually been working together about a decade now on SCN8A. And the first thing that we did was we held a scientific meeting. Within a couple of months, we pulled together the first ever global scientific meeting for people working in SCN8A. And Michael, you had a collaborator, came from Japan, and we had Ingrid Sheffer from, over from Australia, and Miriam Meisler, of course, who the godmother of SCN8A, we call her. And we are now 10 years later, 10 years on. There's remarkable progress. And there's even recently a publication that came out that Juliet Knowles led on precision medicine and genetic epilepsies that highlighted SCN8A as the power of what a community can do when they partner and they work together. And I think that's in no small, way, the power of this community to want to work together, to collaborate with all of these incredible researchers and clinicians and families who are contributing. I don't know, let's just pause for a second and talk about that. Michael, do you want to share anything about, 10 years ago, did you think that there would be 2 clinical trials in progress? Did you think that we would be where we are?
No. I didn't know where we would be. The sky was the limit, but we didn't have any evidence to show that, we would have such progress. So it's really great that Elizabeth Knowles' paper, used SCN8A as the example of how you move from gene discovery to precision medicine rapidly, efficiently, I think they said. And so, yes, the work we're all doing together, every one of us, is really making a difference. And that's just striking. So anyway, that's another reason to feel good about us, about ourselves, and about our community.
Yeah.
Well, I think a major thing has been the registry, Michael. I've talked and heard you talk about this, and you knew you wanted to find other people. You realized, wow, that maybe Shay wasn't the only one, but we have to get data. And, you just got into gear. And I think, was it an Excel file the first one? It was just really an early concept of really saying we have to get data, and the kind of vision you had that it wasn't a contact registry. It wasn't where does everyone live, but really that this was the way we would begin to understand the course of the disease and the diversity of the disease. And I think if there's any single factor for why we've had this progress in 10 years, it's the initiative you took, but really the participation of the 400 families that took their time, a lot of time for the first entry, to really have the rich and granular documentation of what life was like and what challenges, progress, and everything. So it was that vision that you had, and then the engagement and participation year after year that we got not just a snapshot, but over time, and got longitudinal data.
Yeah, and I won't say too much about that because we have the pictures to look at, but really it just started out with one question: is there anyone else in the world like Shay? And I always wondered that for her whole 15 years of life. And as soon as we had the gene, and as soon as one family contacted me after publishing the paper, I realized, oh my God, I don't know anything about this disease yet. I only know what I know from Shay. And so that's what motivated the registry. I hired a student to write the code, to make a website with a web form survey questionnaire. And by 2015, we had our first respondents. And to me, I guess that was one of the biggest steps along the way. When I think back, that now not only do we know about Shay and just a few others, we know about so many, and the spectrum has broadened, and every one of you that's contributed has made that spectrum richer and richer. And we really have a good understanding now of the disease. And so we're really primed to move forward with finding new ways to treat it. So thank you all.
Yeah, no, it's incredibly powerful. And let's see. Thanks, Charles. So up on the screen, in preparation for today, we had asked families to share, what is one thing that you wish the world could know about SCN8A? And we got some really powerful responses and wanted to share them here with you, and to give a little bit of a taste of, what is actually our lives like and what are we hoping for? So in the middle, you can see that's Bella. She's 11. And her mom, Nicole, wants people to know people with SCN8A can be behind in hitting their developmental milestones, and they can look just like a typically developing kid, but they are struggling in the background, maybe with things like emotional regulation or behaviors, or with academic stuff. So I think that's a really powerful message that SCN8A, if you still Google it, when you see SCN8A, it's all about these really very severely impacted kids, like my son Elliot, who has a lot of challenges. Whereas we know, as Michael said, the spectrum is so much wider now, and really, can look very, very different. On the left is Katie Grace, sweet girl with her sunflowers there. And she's 14, and her mom, Casey, wants the world to know that SCN8A has so many complexities, and every child can look different. Katie Grace has a lot of ups and downs that really no child should have to experience, yet she's really an incredible blessing to her family and a warrior with a heart of gold. And I know she does amazing things like play softball. So, there's really a spectrum of kids out there and all the amazing things, that they are doing. And then little Julia here on the right, and we know that she passed away several years ago, but was just an incredibly strong inspiration, and so very loved. And you can see she's got a trach, which is one of the other challenges that a lot of our kids appear with, but really still found a lot of joy in life. So, all right, next slide, please. All right. Oh, on the left there, we have beautiful little May. She is 1, and, her mom, Kelly, shared that, this is very powerful, that she wants the world to know that you're not just a parent, you're a caregiver. And those two roles never get to be turned off. You're holding on to the snuggles, but maybe that's after a long day of seizures. You're feeding your child, but it's through their G-tube that you've had to replace and clean and check and monitor. You're giving them meds, and not just because they're sick, but because they need meds 8 times a day to stay healthy every day, to control seizures and the side effects of the meds, that the other heartbreaking effects of SCN8A have taken the toll on their poor little bodies. You wake up to alarms, but not your morning wake up alarm. It's because there's an alarm desatting from the pulse ox, and you just get a jolt of adrenaline, and you're racing through your body, and you wish you knew so much more. And I think that's so powerful. We want to know more. We need to know more. And it's just heartbreaking that, there's still so much we don't know, but we are working on it, and we are making incredible progress. We just want it to be faster. In the middle there is beautiful Pedo. He's 10, and his mom, Kristen, wants the world to know that SCN8A impacts every aspect of the child's life, but also their family's life. Everything changes after the diagnosis, and some families are lucky enough to have friends and family who step up to help, and others may not, and it's really, really challenging. Either way, she said, we all can find our family and community within the International SCN8A Alliance. That's a nice message. Thank you, Kristen. I would give anything to heal my son of SCN8A and all that it entails, but I would not trade the family I've gained from it for the world. That's so beautiful. Thank you, Kristen. We love you, and we love you, Pito. Love the whole family. Thank you for sharing that. On the right, we have sweet Chloe, who is 13, and her mom wants the world to know that severe GI issues require over a dozen doctors to care for my child. And, you know, Chloe's got a lot of challenges, and I think it's so true. It's emblematic of SCN8A that every kid is presenting with a wide range of challenges. And we traditionally think that GI issues are for kids who are low tone, who are much more immobile. You know, Chloe is up and walking around and running around, but still has very severe challenges. All right, Charles. Okay. Wonderful. We've got a few more we're going to run through here to meet. Want you to meet our kiddos here. So right here we have Rachel shared that her son, who's 9, says that just because my child does not have epilepsy does not mean he is not being affected. He still struggles with delays, muscle issues, and so much more. And that's very powerful because we are learning that more of the spectrum is people who don't have epilepsy. But who do still have a lot of challenges. And so we can never forget them and always need to make sure that when we're talking about SCN8A, that we're inclusive. SCN8A is not just seizures. SCN8A is not just one thing. So that's a powerful reminder for us. In the middle, oh goodness, we have beautiful Layla, who passed away when she was 8 months old from the ravages of SCN8A. And her father, Costa, who you will hear from in a little while, stepped up. Even before she passed, he was ready to take on leadership. And even though she is gone, much like Michael, Layla is inspiration that keeps him moving and working for and with SCN8A families. So Costa, we're so blessed that we have you as part of our community. And thank you for remaining present because you bring such a powerful, I know everybody's crying now, I'm sorry. You bring such a powerful force to our community. So we're excited to talk with you in a little bit as well. And share a little bit about the work that you're doing as well. All right. I'm finding my notes here to make sure that I have everything to say correctly. Let's see, this got mixed up. Where is it? Sorry, 1 second. All right, so, oh, goodness, 1 second, sorry to fix my, my computer just decided to crash that window that I was looking at with all my notes. So give me 1 quick second. All right, well, I don't know where the notes went. But
we can come back to the.
Yeah, we'll come back. But basically, you know, this is Sadie, sweet girl Sadie here on the right. And she is just an incredible little girl who just celebrated 4 years of seizure freedom. And we honor that and we celebrate with you, Sadie, and your mom, Lacey, we know is so proud of you. So, all right, let's go to the next slides if we have some. I think we have one more. Yeah, all right. So over here, we've got Thomas, whose mom, Amy, says that she wants the world to know one tiny spelling mistake in the gene can cause such heartache. Thomas has been through so much in his life due to seizures and other health and development issues, but he's the happiest young man, and I could not be prouder. So we're really, really proud of you. All right. I'm going to pause here. I think that we have a couple of repeats here that I want to pause here for a minute and maybe invite Elise to come in. So Elise is the clinical coordinator for the International SCN8A Registry and works in the lab with Michael Hammer, really trying to learn more about SCN8A. And all of these stories that we just heard, you know, show you the diversity, the spectrum, the many, many things that come with SCN8A. And the work of the registry is to try to capture every single one of those experiences so that when we are talking about SCN8A, we're reflecting every family that is out there and every experience so that nobody should feel that they are not a part of SCN8A community, because SCN8A is all of those families and more. So Elise, welcome. We're excited to have you come on and share a little bit about the registry.
Hello, families. It's wonderful to see you all here today. I'm still a little misty-eyed from that presentation. Cubby. Oh, man, you guys really hitting it home. Hello, everyone. I'm the clinical coordinator for the International Alliance, as well as the Hammer Lab. You might have talked to me through email. I'm usually your first point of contact when you email Dr. Hammer. I'll send you a nice little informational email, and then maybe we chitter back and forth trying to clarify any questions that you might have. And I could not do that without the registry. Nor could we have made the progress that we've made since 2015. I can't see myself, so I'm still on screen, right?
We see you loud and clear. Coming
Okay,
through.
good. And I'm just going to start my little presentation. I just got to get into presentation mode. Share my screen. Okay. The International SCN8A, collecting the past, present, and future of SCN8A related disorder. So we talked about this a little earlier, but when Shay was born, there were no known cases, or Dr. Hammer didn't know what was going on with Shay. And he took it upon himself to do a quartet sequencing of his whole family to figure out what was up. And as it turns out, there was a little whoops in the SCN8A gene, which encodes for the NaV1.6 sodium channel, which was to that little bugger to blame for a wide variety of symptoms that we didn't know what was going on yet. So it began, Dr. Hammer started the registry as a simple HTML web form. And we had around 200 participants on that first round. And right now, as of this past registry drive, we've reached over 410, which is a really big milestone for us. The more data we have, the better the correlations. So a little bit about our registry. We now use a secure form called REDCap. So everybody's data is stored securely, HIPAA compliant, in a special platform called REDCap that's used across the scientific community to collect data. We specifically have 14 different modules that collect everything from demographics to genetics to medications that worked and didn't, development, which we are constantly updating. And this year we actually added a nice little, I think that's on the next slide, yes. We added an additional module for our loss of function kiddos so that we could collect even more discrete information about their experience. We are international. This is a nice little heat map of where we've collected data from, as well as the languages that we provide to make sure that our survey is accessible. We also partner with SCN8A groups across the world, so that we may continue to collect robust data. Now, who cares, right? Well, without that data, we can't publish papers. And thankfully, this past year, we had 5 papers that the registry informed. One of them was a very special paper, a gene review that will not only inform the scientific community, but also help inform physicians so that they may make better decisions. And also we helped inform our beautiful SCN8A, the world's first SCN8A diagnosis and treatment guidelines. And we know how hard it is to get treatment that helps. And how do we know? The data in the registry. Without the data in the registry, we wouldn't have strong correlations to bring to the rest of the scientific community that highlight the need to continue to collect data, and also that we have a robust data set and that there is a wide spectrum. That's how we learned about this beautiful, diverse spectrum from, you know, kiddos who are mild loss of function to our more severe gain of function variants, and to also even learn that characterization of loss of function versus gain of function and some of our other developmental delay types that we're slowly working on. The other thing that the registry informs is our patients directly. I wouldn't be able to create these graphics or share information with patients if I didn't have the registry behind it. We can look at the types of seizure types that are affected by, or the types of seizures that individuals experience. We have a great list of diverse comorbidities. We can see some of the treatments that work and don't, or even help create informational graphics that are shared not just across our platform, but have made it to other groups as well. This is both important for us, but also helps make sure that our patients are informed so they can go to their doctors and they can speak with clarity and confidence. And the way that we did that, all of you wonderful participants who helped by sharing your time, your data, so that we can make sure our whole community is supported. This year, we had 60 new participants, which is very lovely, and 84 returning to come back and do our annual module, which helps continue to make a natural history of SCN8A. So we are very grateful for all of you that participated. Keep an eye out for an email from Tremendous with your disbursements as a thank you. We also, moving forward, our registry is going to be used to help inform a new study that we are going to be following 60 or more participants for 4 years to make a robust natural history study, make a nice package of data so that we can both inform our machine learning pipeline that connects genotype phenotype correlations, as well as provide information for clinical trials so our kiddos don't have to go through some of the early steps of clinical trials. This information that we've generated with the registry allows our kiddos to makes some special missing the word, but it allows us to skip some of the really laborious parts of a clinical trial that aren't associated with a rare disease. And
historical control group.
Thank you, Dr.
Historical control group.
It creates a historical control group. But that is all I have for our quick little registry blip. We also have a winner of our $500 raffle. Everybody who participates in the International Registry, as long as you consent, is entered into a $500 raffle every year on top of the disbursement that they will get once they've completed either an annual update or their entire brand new profile.
And the winner is?
And the winner is the Bard family. Yay!
All right. Yeah. Oh.
You want to take that over, Gabi, and say the name?
Yeah. So thanks. Yeah. So the Baird family have won the raffle this year. So that's $500 that they will get as an opportunity to thank them for their participation. Sorry, you froze up there, Elise, so we jumped in, but
thank you.
yes.
I appreciate that. I saw myself freeze.
So yeah, so thank you to everyone who participated. I hope you see the fruits of that when you come to our meetings, and everybody should come to our meetings just about every weekend. We have meetings with a geneticist, the geneticist who has lived SCN8A. And so it's a really powerful tool for families in our community to find support and love and connection with other families, and speak the science of SCN8A, because we really truly feel that every family should be empowered with the information to understand what their child has, right? It's not just about being able to, walk in, to your doctor's office and say, I need help, or please help. It's like, this is what we're learning. I know that this is a loss of function gene, and I know that these are the kind of medications that tend to work best, and have a conversation with their doctor about what could work best for them. So thank you so much, Elise, for joining us and coming in and spending a few minutes with us to talk about all the cool stuff that you are doing to give back to the community. So,
Thank you. And
all
I'm
right,
always available at Science at Alliance.
science at scn8alliance.org.
Yes, that
Yeah.
is, you can always email me with questions, or if you're interested in joining the registry, or you're just interested if there's anybody else in the world that has a similar mutation. We use the registry in order to determine that. So we're always here to help. We're always here to support, and we're oh so grateful for every one of you.
Indeed. Thank you so much. So I want to take a minute to just share that in the chat, we put the link to the translations. We apologize that that was a little bit delayed. There was a hiccup with the translation system, but if you are interested in following along in your language, or if you're learning to speak Spanish or Italian or something, you could go along and follow in Wordly, which the link is in the chat. So please feel free to open that up. In the meantime, we are going to invite Chris Mackinson and Sophie Hill to come in. Just a second. I think we need to. There's a little few. It's being a little bit hiccupy today. So Chris and Sophie, welcoming you in to come and chat with us a little bit about the research space, what's going on in SCN8A that's interesting and exciting. So come on in and turn on your cameras and we'll start a chit chat with you.
Hi, everyone. Can you
Hey
hear
there,
me?
Chris. Yeah, great to see you.
Great seeing you.
Sophie.
Thanks for the invitation.
Hello.
Hey, Sophie.
Awesome. So let me do some quick intros here. If you don't know these two, you should know these two. So Sophie Hill is a postdoctoral fellow at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia in the lab of Ethan Goldberg. She previously spent a number of years in the lab of Miriam Meisler doing some really cool stuff. If you've heard about an SCN8A ASO, Sophie was working on that. And then we have Chris Mackinson, who's an assistant professor of neurology and neuroscience and the director of physiology in the Institute for Genomic Medicine at Columbia University. And we're actually our first grantee, SCN8A grantee. So amazing to see.
Thank you, everyone.
Your money at work. Chris has opened up his own lab at Columbia University that is focused in on doing amazing things with SCN8A cells, mice, organoids, you name it. You guys are doing it. Tell us a little bit about what you've got going on in your lab, Chris.
Sure. So I've been working on SCN8A for quite some time now. I think it's been, over 10 years. I did my PhD with Andrew Sky at Emory. And, back then, we were interested in sodium channels and their relationship to epilepsy, and some links had been established at that point, such as SCN1A mutations were known to be, a major cause of Dravet syndrome, for example. We knew that SCN8A was highly expressed. You find a lot of it in the brain, but we didn't have any known, that it was kind of curious, right? Like, why don't we have lots and lots of identified, patients with this mutation? So because we lacked that, what we started doing was just putting in mutations from other sodium channels that are very similar, thinking, well, it affects this one in this way, it will probably affect SCN8A in this way. We made some, animal models, that way, kind of predating the clinical work that we have, so much more information on that now. And then, of course, Miriam quickly thereafter ended up publishing the first, clinically informed, mutation in SCN8A, and that really has been an extremely powerful and useful model that they've graciously shared with a lot of the SCN8A community. We have it. I know a lot of other people have that model. But what we really, from the beginning, what we wanted to do, even before the clinical association had been established, was, to understand how sodium channels and how SCN8A, really how it acts and what it does in development. So across the lifespan, genes often have one role later in life, they have a different role earlier in life. levels of the genes go up and down depending on, which part of the brain you're looking at which time point in development. And so these are all kind of like basic questions that we started with that ended up being really relevant for understanding how that gene then participates in the symptoms that that arise when there are, say, mutations in the gene or affected the gene's function in some way. And SCN8A has ended up being, I think even more complex than we initially really realized, and that in and of itself is another important set of questions. I mean, why is there such diversity in these symptoms? From just one gene. And some of the ideas that we're exploring are, well, maybe different mutations are having a larger impact on different phases of development. Some might affect early development more, some might affect later development more, because the genes themselves have slightly different functions at different points, across the lifespan. Another concept which has been mentioned here is the idea that different mutations do different things to the channel. Some will cause them to remain open too easily or for too long. And so I was just trying to read the question there. I didn't quite catch that. But different mutations will, have different effects on what the channel does. And that's clearly a part of it as well. But we haven't been able to really put these variants cleanly into these different boxes of gain of function and loss of function. And we find that sometimes a variant will do some things to the channel that you would say is gain of function, and it does another set of things to the channel that you would say is loss of function. And I think that is definitely a piece of the puzzle, that just there's a lot of diversity in terms of what the different variants do to the channel, and that then has consequences for the symptoms that arise in different cases. So this is all a challenge for us as we use mice to model SCN8A, and we also use human cells. And what we're trying to do is generate an understanding of what is happening to brain cells and how they communicate with one another, that eventually leads to seizure and these other phenotypes. And if there's a huge amount of diversity, what of that diversity should we prioritize? Which variants are the variants that we should devote our attention to and our time to? Because there's not, we can't at once study all of them. We end up studying these variants for many years in some cases. And so these are really like some of the challenges that we see on our end in terms of going from the work that you all are doing, which is really critical in establishing what is out there, what variants are out there, what are the symptoms that are out there, and then also what are the things that the families really want us to focus on. I think much of the field started with seizure because it's a big event that we can measure, and it's a way to define the disorder, but it's obviously so much more than that. And the basic scientists are recognizing that, and we're also incorporating other sorts of measurements to try and look at the disorder more holistically than just as a seizure disorder.
Yeah, I think that's such an incredibly important point, Chris. And I love that. I think that's one of the key things that we really wanted to do too, was to say, how do we make sure that the lived experience helps inform what happens in the lab? Because if you're chasing down questions that aren't really going to matter to families, what's the use? Maybe there's some great, papers that could be written or interesting things, but ultimately we know that you guys are in the lab working to improve quality of life for the families. And I know, Sophie, you guys, when you were at Michigan and Miriam's lab, were really focused on developing this ASO that is an emerging technology that we're seeing and hearing about, that, you know, could potentially do more than impact seizures, right? So maybe if you want to share a little bit about that experience, and then I'd love to chat with you all too about just like what's going on in SCN8A, what's exciting. So
Yeah, sure. So, like Gabi said, I did my PhD with Miriam Meisler at the University of Michigan. And I guess throughout my whole time in the lab, we've been very focused on developing therapies for SCN8A, at least to treat it in the mouse. And then that would hopefully someday be translated into the human. So the one that Gabi mentioned, the SCN8A ASO, is a relatively new kind of small molecule that is highly specific to SCN8A. So as opposed to the normal sodium channel blockers that you might give your kids, it would be specific to SCN8A. It wouldn't hit the other sodium channels, which could reduce other side effects, like you have like drowsiness or cardiac issues if that's a problem. So the idea is that we can specifically target SCN8A and prevent it from being made into a protein, which means that if your child has a gain of function mutation that causes too much sodium to flow through the channel, now there's fewer channels, so you can't have as much sodium going into the cell. And as Gabi said, the idea is that this would not just treat the seizures, but because we're specifically targeting SCN8A, which is the gene that's causing the disease, we might also be able to treat some of the comorbidities that these kids have, including the behavioral problems, GI issues, although that wouldn't work if we're only giving it into the brain. But anything else that your child has might also theoretically be able to be targeted by this therapy. The key really, I think right now, is to develop a drug like this that could be used in the human and to find a pharmaceutical partner that's willing to do that. And also to determine what point you have to give the ASO at in order to be effective. So when we first started studying the ASO in the mouse, we were giving it on postnatal day 2, meaning 2 days after the mouse was born, they got the ASO. That's not going to be possible in a human because we need to know that the child has SCN8A before we can go and treat it. And generally that means they're going to have some sort of seizure, which could cause problems that the ASO can't fix. So I think one problem is detecting SCN8A as early as possible so that we can start to give these precision therapies as they become available. And then also seeing how effective it is and how much it can reverse in the kids who have had SCN8A mutations for a long time, like all your children that we're talking about today.
Yeah.
So I think those are 2 interesting avenues, and I'm excited to see what happens.
yeah, it's really exciting. It's really exciting to see what's on the horizon. And Chris, I know you're also messing around with CRISPR in your lab, which is another buzzword people have heard about, but you know, yeah, go ahead.
I think that the emerging gene therapies is really exciting. And, you know, for other disorders, they're moving into, you know, clinical trials and in some cases being shown to be effective. So these are no longer, you know, techniques that are only used in animal models and such. These are things that are being applied. And, you know, it's really a fundamentally different way to target disease than a small molecule, right? It's a totally different aspect of biology that you're targeting. And that gives us as, you know, as translational researchers, a lot more to think about, a lot more to try, because we're not just trying to get, you know, a small molecule to bind to a certain part of the extracellular part of the channel or something. We have this whole molecular pathway that can be targeted as well. And, you know, I think that's something that we're exploring, is trying to understand, you know, what regulates the expression of voltage-gated sodium channels and where they are in the cell, whether they go to different parts of the cell will affect how, you know, how they work, as like different access points. That's a little more sophisticated than just say like blocking the channel, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's how I'm kind of thinking about this. You know, we need to explore all of these options. I think it's very challenging to know which one is going to really work, you know, but they all make sense to me to try. And I have to think that eventually we'll figure this out and one of them work well. Yeah. That's my hope.
Yeah, as they say, lots of shots on goal, right? We got to keep trying and testing and, you know, seeing where we can actually start to see a difference. And then once we're doing it in the lab, you know, there's also, no, Charles, not now. Once we, you know, once we start to do things in the lab and find results in the lab, then we still have to translate that into humans, right? Because mice and whatever things we do in the lab translate it to humans. So there's a lot of work to do, but we're really grateful that you all are doing it and exploring that. Can you guys each share one thing that you're super excited about in terms of SCN8A, about like what's on the horizon or something that's piquing your interest?
Sure, I can go. So this is maybe a little basic sciencey, but I'll try to explain it. I think one thing that's really interesting is the possibility that cells in the brain that don't have SCN8A are also involved in the disease that the kids have. So specifically, I think the oligodendrocytes are really interesting. Those are cells that surround the neurons and help the electrical signals move more quickly between the cells. So I think the possibility that those cells are involved in SCN8A epilepsy would be really interesting. And Juliet Knowles had a paper on this last year, I think. So I'm excited to see where her research goes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited about the possibility of using human cellular models for testing out different gene therapies. And these are these are still a fairly new technique. These are induced stem cells. So we get blood cells or skin cells from patients, and then we reprogram them, turn them into a type of stem cell, and then we differentiate that stem cell and turn that into neurons, into brain cells. The technique, the benefit of the technique, one of the key benefits is that they're human cells. So they have, the human SCN8A gene and all of the components and parts that need to interact with it. So I think it's a great platform for testing out therapies, because, to really get a therapy to work, it's not about the concept working, which is really where mice are fantastic. You actually need specific things to interact with each other in very precise way, and you can model that in the human system, I think, a little bit better than in a mouse. The downside is they're very early stage of development, and they don't have all the cell types that the mouse has. You have to make decisions about whether you make oligodendrocytes. The cortical organoids that we have don't have oligodendrocytes in them, so that aspect of the disorder will be missed. But you could do another study where you would make oligodendrocytes and study that. But the point is that it's a human model that really adds another is another way to look at and test and to try different things.
Excellent. Yeah, well, thank you both. I mean, it's I think it feels like we're kind of on the verge of a lot of really exciting things that could be happening. More people are entering the SCN8A space. We're seeing a lot more interest in SCN8A as a general model of epilepsy, which is actually how Juliet Knowles used it, right? Not as a specific to SCN8A, but like, let's use SCN8A because it's a great natural model, right? As opposed to, having models where you induce a seizure. And so I think we're really excited about where we're headed and what's coming down the pike. And we're really grateful that we have folks like you who are working in the space and helping us to get over that hump and really start to find some really clear answers. So thank you so much for all you do and for being here with us today. And we'll continue to keep working with you all. Chris is actually helping us plan our big research roadmap meeting that's going to be happening in August as a big next step for our community. To think about how we're setting priorities and where we really want to invest funds in translating to better care and treatments for our kids. So appreciate you all being here. I see you're getting some love in the chat and some love on there. So there's a couple of questions that are coming in the chat. And unfortunately, we're low on time, but if you guys want to address that in the chat, maybe that would be really helpful. We're just a little bit behind. So but we can kind of have some of those conversations online too with folks, carry some of those through. So Terrific. Next, I think we're going to, let's see. Yes, it is amazing research I see coming through. All right. We're going to move now into looking at a video that we had shared from one of our partners from SCN8A Spain, who are incredible partners working to do some great stuff in Spain to help us as a global community learn more about the disorder. So take it away, Charles.
Hello, we are Aurora and Vanessa, and these are our children, Maria and Joan. We are the founders of SCN8A Spain. We met in 2017 on Facebook, and after sharing our experiences, we decided to create a WhatsApp group to be in contact with other Spanish families, and later a Facebook page to find more affected families in Spain. SCN8A Spain was founded in February 2022 after the first SCN2A and SCN8A European meeting in Bonn, Germany, and thanks to the advice and determination of the neurologists of our children who insisted on the importance of patients' associations. At the moment, there are 13 Spanish families formally associated and 9 more involved. We also give support to 29 families from Latin America, Mexico, Argentina, Chile, Peru, Colombia, and Honduras. Our goals are to find and support SCN8A families in Spain and get in contact and collaborate with medical and scientific community and also with other international associations like SCN8A International Alliance. SCN8A Spain is a member of the European SCNH Association since its foundation in February 2023. And at the moment, we also support families from Europe involved in the Praxis clinical trial in Madrid. We are happy to be here on SCNH International Awareness Day, and you can find us in Facebook, Instagram, or in our page, scnh.es. Thank you very much.
Hooray. You're so excited to spotlight SCN8A Spain, who are doing incredible work to actually not just support families in Spain, but they are taking on the bulk of supporting families around the world who are Spanish speaking. So they've got families from Peru, Argentina, Colombia, all over the world who are facing SCN8A diagnoses, but without a local community. So we applaud their work and are grateful to them for their partnership. Next up, we want to, this is a lot of rotating. This is like the view. We got a lot of stuff happening in quick succession here. So we would love to invite. Okay. Yeah, we can show this. Go ahead, Charles. We'll do this in the next. So this is
pregnancy that results in a healthy baby gives us the comfort and the right to imagine the most perfect little human being and a wonderful life full of adventures. But then, out of nowhere, it starts, with a seizure and/or a missing milestone. We start consulting one doctor after another. In the meantime, seizures continue unabated. Sometimes a low muscle tone shows up, or sometimes a high muscle tone. Eventually, a genetic test will be done. Finally, we receive a diagnosis, SCN8A. And when we Google it, it's so scary and we feel lost. We want to know everything about SCN8A, but a prognosis often cannot be provided. We keep asking, will my child ever walk? Will my child ever talk? Will my child ever be seizure-free? Will my child ever be independent? Will my child die? The search for an anti-epileptic drug starts, balancing between horrible seizures and horrendous side effects of many drugs. In the meantime, our children are fighting day in, day out against seizures. Often seizure freedom is just not realistic. Our children are also working so hard to reach some milestones, and despite all the fights, some milestones will never be reached. We mourn, we enjoy, we laugh, we cry, we advocate. We start an accepting journey, but many times we feel overwhelmed and that SCN8A is just too much to handle. We fight day in, day out with and for our children, We stand up for our children, to raise their voice and to ask for their rights. We raise awareness for SCN8A because it is an extremely rare and horrible disease. We need more knowledge to be able to give all people with SCN8A a better quality of life by finding a cure.
Okay, well, if you have dry eyes, I don't know how, but that was a powerful video that was created by the SCN8A European Federation group. And they wanted to show in that video not just the beautiful smiling pictures that we often share because our children are so incredibly strong and resilient, but the real challenges that come with SCN8A. And I think it was a really incredibly powerful message, and I'm grateful to Cinzia and Gaby, who I know put a lot of time and effort into that, and to all the European Federation partners and everyone who shared for that video. Thank you for allowing us to share that today. I know it's out on social media, and we've shared it. So if you want to check that out again, just you should find it. It's being plastered out there. I hope you see it and you can share it because it's a very powerful tool. Next up, we want to invite Giuliano to join us on camera. I'm really excited about this conversation. So Giuliano and Jackie are parents to Patty and have an incredible story to tell, not just because they are raising a child with SCN8A, but because they have chosen to speak up about it and speak out about it. And to share that story, the good and the bad, but really highlighting the inspiration of what it is to have a child. So this is, of course, I have my background on. This is the book that Giuliano wrote called We Have an Angel, Embracing the Journey of SCN8A with Positivity and Hope. And I'm really excited that I got a chance to, you can get it on Amazon. It's there, sorry. I'll put the name in the chat. And hopefully Jackie and Giuliano, if you guys are there, feel free to unmute and turn your video on.
Okay. Hello.
Hey,
Hi
Giuliano.
to everyone. Hey, you're right.
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad. I'm okay today. Yeah.
I know today was a hard day for a lot of reasons. We don't have to.
Yeah. We live day by day. Today is all right.
Exactly.
Yeah, we see what happens tomorrow. Yeah.
Indeed. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so glad that you're here with us today.
Yeah.
Because you wrote this book clearly from a place of love and for your son Patty and the challenges that he's facing. So maybe could you just tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write this story?
Yeah, this was in the beginning was like an author book. Like everyone to see this video and is involved with this sickness, you know, we passed lots of time in the hospital by the side of a little boy, and at some point I find I need to write something to discharge myself, because you know, or you can speak. I speak with Jackie, obviously, but when you write something, it's different. You really discharge yourself, and really was like, you know, put in the paper lots of emotion, everything, your sensation, because in the beginning was so strong, because you know, it's a change your life, and you don't know what happens in the future, and you need I need personally, I like write. I write daily a journal for myself, and for that I put there. And at some point, because I live in England, married with Jackie, and she's English, I live in England, but I'm from Sicily. And because in Sicily, where I live, there's in Sicily, I think, every one cases of the SCN8A. I think it's around Messina. But lots of people don't know nothing about the sickness. And because every time I go there, everyone asks me about Paddy. Oh, it's better. they don't understand really. I said, I put one day, I post on Facebook. I said, listen, this is the situation. If you're curious, you can buy this book. That was not very expensive, but it's easy way to, when you read something, you can really understand the emotion, the feeling of, what I'm talking about in the book.
It's about hope as well. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, and of course, I write that to give a hope to maybe someone is new in the sickness, because now Paddy is a 2-year-old, and honestly, he teach a lot to us. That I realize about his sickness, that is not just science. If they come in our life, come for a reason, maybe to make you more strong, or to, you need to understand what's why what they want to teach to us. We have an angel, just because he's come like an angel really, and change our mind, and he prepare us to something else in the life. And is a lot of emotion, a lot of thing that is not just about the science of the sickness, because we know we are human, and we are our limits. Science finish when something else work, I think, and I believe the science, and honestly, at the moment, Pat is very settled, is growing, is happy, and he have a good medication, of course. And we hope, in the future something better happens. But really, he changed our life totally.
Yes. I just say, when I read the book, I was just so moved by how you were really talking more about how your experience has opened your heart, and that you have such a positive attitude. Every day is opportunity to see the positive. So for other people who haven't read the book, it's very inspiring, and it's very positive.
Dr. Hammer, I've been diagnosed today. Sorry.
I don't know whether you can see me now. Obviously, Giuliano now has well, was it a month ago?
Every 3 months we investigate.
3 months since day one. How do you see me? I don't know.
Yeah, we've been
really close.
Yeah, we've been,
which is nice. Which is nice.
Yeah, I've been diagnosed of cancer, and just now I crying a bit just because it's emotional. But honestly, I have a so positive mind, and I'm not afraid of anything, just because I learn a lot of my son.
Paddy has taught us so much to be like to feel day by day.
Yeah.
Today, the doctor told us, Giuliano is obviously Sicilian, so he's got there's a little bit of a language barrier with the English. But the doctor said, I heard her say because she didn't tell us the prognosis. And I said, you want to know? I said, I want to know. Yeah, what the hell? You're the doctor, you should tell us everything, not just and she said, and she was a registrar, not the consultant. We thought we were seeing the consultant. Anyway, she said 16 months prognosis.
Yeah, my prognosis. But I understand. I understand the 6 months. I said, oh, doctor, 6 months. Oh, fucking hell, is too short. She said, no, 6 months, 16. I said, thank you.
That's fine then.
Anyway, the point is not that. The point is not that. The point is back to Dr. Hammer talking is about the positive mind. Every sickness I learn, apart the science, is mindset. We are adult. For a little boy,
And every family that has a child that has this epilepsy that Paddy's had has been relentless. Now he's 2 years old, and it has eased off. Obviously, he hasn't got benign familial epilepsy. He's not got that. But 2 years old, lamotrigine, and he's things seems to have settled down a bit. But yeah, it's the mindset, and it's Paddy's taught us day by day. I'm wearing this because he's heavy, And I have to like,
Yeah.
you know, just this one. I'm left-handed, but my left hand is the holding him, and this one is the welling.
Anyway, back to the
strength.
I want to back to why we talk tonight. I want to mean what's telling my book is I learn a lot of philosophy in my life, and I have my philosophy of life. I like in the book, I like apply my philosophy to myself. That this is the best thing you can do. And what's I learn of Paddy is positivity. You need all these kids. The main thing we can learn, they fight for everything. They fight because
they fight to survive.
They fight 24 hours a day, and they don't give up. And today I said to the doctor, I said, doctor, I'm not scared about dying because my little boy risk died every seizure, and he fight 24 hours per day. If you can do that, for me, it's easy to survive. And he motivates me to fight with everything. You know, I don't know if he's maybe I'm out of discussion with what you're talking about here on my book. But basically, what I mean in my book is this: be positive, be close with your family, be close with the people that are tonight here, and don't give up in any way. And I said that we have an angel because they come for a reason, and they can go when they want. They are pure. You know, the science can do what they want, but they go when it's time. I think they come to us to improve or to help us in any way. And the best thing we can do, we do, love every moment. You're laughing, is happy, is this is it. It's a little moment, just this.
That's our Paddy, and that's our family.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on and sharing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm out of the discussion, but it's just to confirm what I write in my book
right now.
We're so privileged to have had this chance to hear from you, because a lot of us have read the book, and I think what you capture when you talk about how much we learn from these children, that's the gift that's so powerful, that people see the lack of abilities and the lack of development, and they're brilliant, they're stars, they're angels, and they give gifts to us. And thank you for writing that and sharing, because that is a joy that we all have amidst the pain and the challenge. But thank you for sharing and writing that.
Thank you for the opportunity.
He's asleep here. Just show you. Where are you, Paddy?
I can see.
Can you see?
Oh, he's looking so beautiful. Paddy, we love you, sweet boy.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing.
He's been crying all day. I don't know that his tummy. Oh, I don't know. Sniffling.
Or maybe because it was sad for the bad news.
He was all day today, and the nurses were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I just need to give him his medication, if you don't mind. Like, it's like an hour after his milk. I need to give it now, otherwise he'll be sick." And they're like, "Oh my God, who are these people?"
Well, thank you guys so much for sharing. Thank you for writing this book, Giuliano.
Thank you, Gabby. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, your positivity is spreading. So thank you for that.
We need, honestly, we need apart the sickness of SCN8A. Generally, every family has some sickness, heavy, no heavy or not. What makes different is mindset. Just this can help us. Don't give up. Don't stay in the sofa. Make a cold shower and go for a run. Said Wim Hof. I don't know if you know this guy, but he helped me a lot in my life. And this is, and I hope we can speak more and more. And I make a challenge with the doctor. I said, I don't fucking die in the 16 months. I did it straight. I'm more.
We will be watching. We will all be thinking of you, Giuliano. You're in our hearts, and we're grateful for your positivity. So thank you so much. And
thank you, Gabby. Bye to everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Oh, powerful. Yeah. I mean, you should check out the book. It's lovely. It's really, it helped me kind of turn my perspective when I'm feeling down. He's got a great way of writing that's really beautiful. Of course, we're running behind because that's how it always goes, but we want to take a quick minute to pull up this incredible. So I reached out. Many of you might know Kendra Mulivari, who lives in Canada. She recently started a cookie business last year, and she does the most incredible designs. She's a true artist. And I reached out to her. I said, "Can I commission you to make a cookie in honor of Awareness Day?" And I left it wide open, and she just blew us away. So I'm so excited. It's just a very quick video showing how she did this, but take a peek and watch. It's really something magical.
Tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man. No time to talk. Music loud, women walk, being kicked around since I was born. Never fall around. I don't care, and you may look the other way, but we can try to understand and do your time. Stay alive.
Isn't that amazing? I'm just so blown away by Kendra and her artistry and her vision. And she, I said, "Please let me send you something." And she said, "No, I just wanted to do it because it's, it's a fun challenge." And I was so blown away, and I'm so grateful to Kendra for doing that for all of us. And that will live on. That is the cookie that will live. And I promise that we will continue to put it out there because it's so powerful. And here's Kendra with her sweet boy Foster. I just wanted to let you guys see just such a happy, sweet, beautiful boy. And I love this family so much. So I just wanted to highlight that there. So thank you so much, Kendra. We are in awe of your artistry and how you honored all of our kids today with that beautiful piece of art that her husband ate. I was like, "What? You ate it?" But they make cookies in their house. They eat cookies. What are you going to do? There's cookies. So I know, but I'm sure it was as delicious as it was beautiful. So we want to bring in now our friends from Neurocrine. We have Carolyn McMicken and Duncan Morrissey who are joining us. I think we just wanted to invite them in to have a space to connect with the community and say hello. And join us for, a quick conversation about what is happening in SCN8A. We know that Neurocrine has been working in SCN8A for many years. They have a clinical trial that is in progress. And there's not a lot of updates on the clinical trial side, but we do want to hear from them just about kind of what's going on. And if they have any thoughts about the world of SCN8A. And I know they have a special anecdote to share as well, too. So welcome, Duncan. It's great to see you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Gabby. Good to be here. Honored to be here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm really glad that you were able to find time to join us. I know that life is quite busy.
Yes.
When you are.
Yes. Yes.
You are working on new drugs.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm assigned, I'm the clinical trial manager here at Neurocrine, working on DEE studies, all day. So it's, every day I come here, I'm working on these DEE studies. It's just, one thing I guess we wanted to share is, I don't know if Carolyn's able to log on
She's
here.
coming. I think there was a glitch with it, but I think hopefully she'll be.
She might be able to intro it. But yeah, it's just hearing some of these stories. It's, it's really inspiring and motivational. So yeah.
Welcome, Carolyn. Sorry, little hiccups there, but you made it.
No, thanks. I panicked, but Duncan is quite capable. I'm glad you had a chance to introduce yourself. And I don't want to cut you off, Duncan, but I did prepare a few remarks, and then I can turn it over back to Duncan as well. So first off, I know Gabi sent, a few questions that maybe we could think about as we joined, and I'm thrilled to be here on SCN8A Awareness Day. It's hard to believe it's been more than just over 4 years since Neurocrine entered and started working with all of you. So, I'm very excited this year to hopefully learn more about our compound, NBI 921352, in the ongoing study that we have, and also the continued collaboration. We've been working with all of you, like I said, for quite some time. particularly with Dr. Hammer on the registry. So just very excited to learn more from that. And then also more about clinical outcome measures to measure what matters for these kids. You know, as I don't know if Duncan had started as I was switching over, but one of the exciting things that we had happen earlier this year, last month, was that we had invited Madeline Udine and Christopher Burge to join one of our team meetings and share Margot's story and the research they're doing, and also the beautiful purple glass pumpkins that they had created at MIT. Neurocrine team has managed to get one of those pumpkins. We have the one called Kepra, and decided to, Duncan's showing it there. We decided that to honor the community each month, that we would award the pumpkin to one of our team members that is really keeping patients in focus in their daily work. And Duncan just embodies that. I think it's going to be hard to find, to have to pass it to somebody else.
Yeah, thanks, Carolyn. And yeah, I mean, for me, I keep it on my desk, and you know, so I look at it every day, and it's, you know, amid the report review and timelines and the nitty gritty, it kind of helps give me the perspective and the connection to think of all the families that out there that are, you know, living with the challenges of SCN8A and the joys of SCN8A. You know, every day they're working really hard, and you know, just motivates me to keep working here in Neurocrine on these studies.
Fantastic.
It's kind of fitting that you got the levetiracetam one, because so many of our children struggled with that being their first treatment, because it was standard that it was the first treatment for epilepsy. And because so many of them were gain of function, the early ones diagnosed, you know, it was just months, if not years of, oh, it's just not a therapeutic level, and more and more and more, and wasted time and lost brain. So you're holding, there's a lot of memories. Whenever you mention Kepra, while there are a few families where it actually does work, it's a story and a part of the journey for a lot of families of the lack of targeted treatments for 8A. So we're very excited that you're in there and you know how important it is. And we're grateful for your commitment to our community.
Yeah, we want to create a better pumpkin for the community.
Right.
Yeah, it was such a beautiful idea. And just a little backstory too there is that, like, so basically Chris Burge, Madeline's husband and Margot's dad, works at MIT, and he has been doing research for many years and kind of is translating some of that into more SCN8A focused stuff. But one of the postdocs in his lab works at this famous glass blowing lab at MIT, where they make purple pumpkins every year. And this student, Connor, who happened to be in Chris's lab, said, well, I'll make some. And so Chris and Madeline set up this beautiful fundraiser for the Alliance and raised over $5,000 selling, you know, at auction, these beautiful pumpkins that really, each of them were named, as you said, that one is Kepra, for drugs that had been tried and failed. And I think there were 12 of them or 13 of them in this auction. And that's a sign of the fact that we need you all. We need Neurocrine. We need more companies out there who are willing to say, we can do better. We've got to do better. And we know you all are committed to that. And we're just so grateful. And, you know, we really enjoy working with you all and partnering with you all. I know that you mentioned that Dr. Hammer, I mean, Michael has played a critical role in helping get, you know, elements of your study going. And that's what the registry is for. That's what the research is for, so that we can take everything we know about this community and feed it to whoever wants to do something to help our SCN8A families and say, take this data and use it. So yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
I'm sure for many families, it feels like things haven't happened fast enough and we haven't come far enough. But it is truly amazing at how far we have come in the research community in the last few years. And hopefully it just accelerates from here.
What are you guys most excited about on the horizon for SCN8A or emerging research or something you're seeing? Anything kind of getting you excited or thought-provoking?
Well, I think for me, you know, being a psychologist at heart and by training, I'm most excited about the furthering of the work of the clinical outcome measures because I do, you know, think that it's going to be critical to be able to really understand our kids and how they are progressing on their own kind of scale. And really looking at those non-seizure outcomes is obviously incredibly important.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Duncan?
And for me, I think, you know, the study's has been going a little bit slower than we'd anticipated, but I think part of that's because we want to get it right, you know, and not have to do these again. And so, you know, I'm looking forward to being able to start our global main cohort. You know, I think that's kind of on the horizon for us, and that's where we aim to be. And so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah.
Well, thank you all so much. You know, it's just amazing that we can all partner together. We all have the same goal in mind across industry, research, our families. And to have a common goal these days among many stakeholders is remarkable. So we really love you guys and appreciate everything you do.
Yeah, it's incredible. We're so grateful that we have you in our community, and we want to keep seeing you and talking with you and keep you front and center in this community so they know that how committed you guys really are to this disorder. You guys have really, we see the heart and the care that you guys have for our community. So thank you for being with us on this journey.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Duncan, on having the pumpkin.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right, well, take care. And we hope that the rest of Neurocrine is marking Awareness Day with us. We know that you guys are all thinking about it today and with us on this journey. So thank you.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So let's see. Next up, we've got, and we're really going through here round and round, but we've got Elena Gardella, who many of you I'm sure know, is with the Philadelphia Center at the Denmark Epilepsy Center. So let's see, I'm trying to bring her in here. And while she's coming in, we know that Elena has really taken on SCN8A in her work and is excited to be exploring. You know, we were lucky enough, Jayed and I, to head to Copenhagen last year to the 2A8A meeting that was happening there, and got to see Elena and a lot of her students or the folks working in her with her that are doing some SCN8A studies. So welcome, Elena. Great to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Sorry I joined late, but it's a great pleasure being here. Thank you.
That is life. We would know how to roll with it. We gotta.
And I've been listening to you for a while, and amazed. It's really, I mean, it's a nice, really nice initiative, and it's significant. And yeah, we are happy to be here. And as I told you, as you mentioned, our philosophy in the research is really to work pretty much with the family, with possibly with the company, and especially to share our experience in a transversal way. We like to work with you. You joined our gathering, and the philosophy of the gathering is really to be part of the scientific and the social community in the same way, and to try to put it together. We try to do more. We try also to work translationally, let's say, aligning the effort of the SCN8A and 2A in Europe, at least, where we are starting this tradition, just to try to get stronger, because in our, in Europe is even a little bit more difficult. We are a lot of language barrier, social differences, so we need to adjust address the needing of the patient in different ways. So it's a little bit more complicated. I think around the world is almost the same story, but it's more concentrated there. So now our focus, we are collecting the data. We have been talking about the data collection and the natural history for a long time. Finally, we completed our pilot study, so we are happy to announce that we are going to start soon with the data collection, the prospecting one. We hope this will be basically, this data collection is through physician and collaborators, colleagues among the physicians, because we need to collect data in a standard setting with a kid, specialists and we need to have recordings of EEGs and neuroimaging in a standard way. But we're really happy to open up to the families as much as possible in a second way. And this means that we need to collect data to measure, quantifiable data in a prospective way, opening to be able to provide the baseline for any kind of translation and interventional trial in the very next future.
It's exciting work, and I think the community should know that it was really a privilege to have your participation in the diagnosis and treatment guideline, that you and your community have done such intensive work, and it was a real privilege to have your leadership of the phenotype group, and we've built on the extensive phenotyping work that you've done and really filled it in with this global consensus. So we thank you for that. But one of the things that came up and we were so excited about at the meeting last year were some of the comorbidities that some of your researchers were delving into. Can you tell us the status of some of the work? I think there was a big one on sleep, and there was another one. I think these areas are so poorly researched. It's really exciting that you're digging in not just to the seizures, but to these non-seizure outcomes. Can you share an update on that?
Yeah, thank you for that, Yetta, because it's really something we are focused on. Now, I'm an epileptologist by training at the beginning, but now we are pretty much focused on the non-epilepsy phenotype because it's pretty much, neglected. So now we did a work on the sleep, that the work is completed, the paper has been recently submitted, and it came out that actually the sleep is really a problem. It's really a problem, especially in the children with childhood active epilepsy. So perhaps we do not know exactly how much epilepsy contributes or what is the gene per se, but in any case, the combination of the two is dangerous for sleep maintenance. So actually, the quality of sleep is important for everything, but especially also for seizure control. So it's a kind of circle, a negative one. So they figure out some. We are also focusing pretty much of the movement disorders. So now we are completing the study of the let's say subcortical effect on not the epilepsy, but what is below that, and the movement disorders, which has much more prevalent than expected and described previously, and they are quite actually impairing the quality of life as well, and they are much less treated than epilepsy, for example. So now we need to both to categorize, to describe, but also to find the way to try to some effective therapeutic approach. So this is the focus of our research at the moment, and we hope to be able to provide them, a more clear overview of the very next future. And pretty much related to that, you have seen, you have heard our fellow Katerina, she talks about the transition of care, and it's something else. This is pretty much related. And this is something that we are to be able to conclude. We try to import it in a real practice, at least as a pilot in Scandinavia and some other countries in Europe, to export it, because I feel that this is very important. And our focus in transition, this is a very critical period in the life of the children. is unfortunately can impair in a negative way their management for years sometimes. And one of the critical aspects is that if there is some transition of care, and not always there is, but if there is, it's pretty much focused on epilepsy and not all the other aspects, which are actually one of the, I mean, the one is most neglected. So we are focusing, you know, you mentioned the consensus, which a great experience. I do thank you for having been part of that. And I thank you for your effort, because it was really a great achievement. I love the results that came out. I love pretty much, but they are beautiful. And, you know, I said it already. And I'm also so happy, to be, underlined, which is one of the most important concept that we always keep around, that SCN8A is not a disease, but there are many diseases, right, and they need to be addressed in different ways. And I'm happy to hear that the community now is agreed on that concept, and both this is the transitional phase of transitional care is especially important, because really it's not one size fits all. You need to address it in tailored and personalized way, right, as a group. So that is something that we do, and of course it emerged pretty clearly that we couldn't do without the collaboration with you, with your family, with the community, because it's pretty much pretty much clinically oriented, that also focus on the practical aspect, which to me is the most rewarding, because it seems to have an immediate impact of
I just want to say, Elena,
management.
So great to have you leading this effort in Europe, and you know, it spills over around the world, of course, but to see your large group and your commitment to this, to making breakthroughs and collecting data, and the persistence. I know on our end that it's a big challenge. It takes many years, and your commitment is amazing. You know, I can say that I had a child with SCN8A, and that's my motivation. And to see someone like you who's come in with your professional approach to all of this is just amazing. And I just want to thank you, especially today on Awareness Day, for everything you're doing in Europe and around the world with the work you're doing beyond the seizures to all these other clinical aspects that are so important for us.
And the leadership across Europe, I think that's what's really powerful. It's not just that you have a wonderful center in Denmark, but the 2A, 8A work and the other kind of collaboration that's going on across Europe that you've been doing is really key, because that integration of data is so important, because we know, and you know, that the heterogeneity of our population, we need to have that data pulled together. So the fact that you're working across Europe and so many are collaborating, and that you'll be joining us this summer as we bring together leading clinicians, basic researchers like Chris and Sophie we spoke to earlier, and our family reps and pharma, to really start strategizing the highest priority areas to accelerate progress, because as we started right at the beginning, our children can't wait any longer. We need to move efficiently. So we thank you for your leadership.
I do thank you. I will say thank you, Michael. It's touched me because especially from you, especially today, I really appreciate your words. And of course, all of you also, Juliet and Gabby, I appreciate that. I mean, your motivation is our rewarding. I mean, it's our rewards. It's that really stimulate us to keep on. And that's it, because we want to choose this way otherwise. I believe what it made me gradually shift from research, I mean, the clinical research and translational research, gradually to the, I mean, to more focus on the social aspect is a bit that, because there is needing to to see some practical effect. I mean, I strongly believe that there is need to apply our knowledge in the practice as soon as possible. So I would really love to see that we together understood something new and are able to have an impact on the quality of life of all the families now. Maybe a little step, maybe not the biggest one, but to translate it into practice as soon as possible. This is why, I mean, I feel that, and this is also a great stimulation to also for the other part, for going forward with the research. But this is, I mean.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're so grateful for your leadership, and thank you. And we're looking forward to working with you a lot more on many different efforts to advance the research and the science around SCN8A. So thank you for staying late. I know it's late for you, and finding time to join, even though life happens. So we get it. Take care. We'll talk soon.
Looking forward. Yeah, looking forward. Pretty sure they do.
Exactly. Take care. All right. So we are moving along. We've got a lot of stuff to cover still. We're going to try to rapidly move through. But next up, we want to invite Elaine Worrell, who is an incredible leader in the space of pediatric epilepsy, who's done a ton of work. She's at the Mayo Clinic. And she actually joined us as a process guide. Yes, as our process guide for the diagnosis and treatment consensus process that we just spent about 2 years working on, to really try to identify what we actually know and can say definitively about SCN8A in working with groups across the world. So as Elaine makes her way in, hopefully, I think, there we go. This was a process where we recruited 30 pediatric epileptologists and 13 families from 16 different countries and 5 continents to come together to say, what can we really and truly say we know about SCN8A? And that was what Elena was talking about in terms of this consensus process. It was long and hard, but very rewarding, because we now can say that it's not just that one person says this or one person says this. We have consensus across the world that these are the challenges that we know about SCN8A in terms of diagnosis around SCN8A, phenotypes, the different kinds of SCN8A that we see, these subgroups, the comorbidities, the other challenges besides the epilepsy, prognosis, which is something we all want to know about when our child gets diagnosed. What does this mean for their future? And we're starting to chip away at that with this consensus, which will hopefully be published in the next month or two. We're in the final stages of that now. But Elaine, welcome. We're so grateful that you could join us today, and for your incredible leadership over the last few years in helping us do this consensus process on SCN8A.
Thank you very much for inviting me to join. And I'd also like to acknowledge Scott Perry. I don't know if he's joining today, but he has put in a tremendous amount of work, as has Maya.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no, I just got a message from Scott that he's unable to make it because he is reading EEGs, and we know that patients first. We always say, whenever we talk to clinicians, if you need to go and deal with kids and patients, do that. But absolutely, we want to recognize Scott Perry, who is the head of neuroscience at Jane and Justin. I'm going to get it wrong if I'm not looking at it. But at Cook Children's, and he has been an incredible co-lead with us on this work, along with you, Elaine. So we're really grateful for that. And then, of course, Maya Shia, who did an incredible amount of data work with us to try to help us process this massive amount of data and put it into understandable terms. So she played a tremendous role as well. So, we just wanted to kind of mark that we're kind of on the precipice of this here, Elaine. You did this whole process with Dravet syndrome twice as well. So, what do you think is the real value of doing this kind of analysis or process on a rare disease?
So I think that one of the things that when we look at rare diseases like SCN8A, right? Nobody has a ton of patients that have this. The amount of data in the literature is still a little bit limited. And so we don't have really strong evidence for presentation, for how best to treat, for associated comorbidities. And so if we have a situation where we have a number of expert clinicians, everyone has some degree of expertise, but we don't have a lot of data in the literature, I think this can be very helpful. And so we involved both expert clinicians as well as families. And so we got, I think, some really good input. I think we have probably the most information, as you probably know, on the SCN8A DEE phenotype. But I think that this also has raised a number of questions, and I think has raised the importance of, doing things like a larger database and sort of being able to collect data in that way. But I think that, for families and for clinicians, I think we now have sort of, our expertise, and then we've shared our expertise amongst a larger group. And so I think collectively we now know more.
Yeah, Jaya, we did a lot of work in this. Was there anything you want to highlight or?
Well, I mean, you
kind of help us,
you mentioned it in the intro, but this would not have been possible without both Scott and Elaine. This was a vision when we surveyed families over 2.5 years ago of what the priority was. And, it's get rid of the spaghetti on the wall treatment. Even our best doctors, we're here at Children's in DC and had the head of the department, and he'd say, I don't know, we've been through 12 meds. I don't know what's going to work next. And we needed to get this data. And I remember at the very beginning when you graciously agreed to join us, you said the key is rigor, that you don't do this fast. You don't do, have one meeting and write it up and get the answers. That the key to really getting the results of a modified Delphi is doing it well, doing it carefully, and getting it published in a journal that is highly respected. That's what a doctor is more likely to defer to. If it was in a marginal journal that didn't have much respect. So it was your insight, your guidance, and your perseverance with us. This was a long process, but getting everything right. And we wish for the community it had been faster. But I think it was that guidance about do it right, do it accurately, don't stretch the data, and be aware of the limitations. And we're on the precipice. I guess I'm speaking more to the community than to you, Elaine, that it just will pay off. We have a level of consensus that we never had before. And it's a new evidentiary basis for treatment for anyone everywhere. So many of our families, you talk about doctors not having much experience. For most of our families, their child is the only 8A patient. And they will now have the benefit of these 30 clinicians and all of the children that they see. So we thank you, and it will be rolled out soon. We have a big plan to get this out, and we're excited about it, and we are very grateful for the leadership and depth of experience. People don't know you're leader at the International League Against Epilepsy, and this was only possible by the kind of commitment that you made. So thank you.
And I'd like to acknowledge, both of you guys really drove this. And I'd also like to acknowledge those surveys were not short. And so we really had some very dedicated clinicians who took the time and made sure they answered all of that. So I think this is really, it's a team effort, right? It's a large team that was able to do this.
I just want to say congratulations, Elaine, for the hard work. It's going to pay off, and the community will see the fruits of your labor very soon.
Yeah. And I think we're excited to see, we know that we've talked with people in the Dravet space about how having a tool like this can be a really powerful thing to help families advocate. So I'm curious if you have anything to say about kind of the ramifications of having something like this, the power of a tool like this.
I think it's really helpful because, as you say, if you are a clinician and this is your only patient and you don't have a wealth of expertise, if there is something published in the literature and the family brings that to you and say, hey, this is published in the literature, I think it really kind of gives you insight of where to go next as well. And so, one of the things we did for the Dravet is we made sure that it was accessible to families online through their website. And that is so, so important. So, it's for clinicians, but it's also for families.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. And that's what our plan is as well, that we are hope to make these as really and have them give them out like candy, be like, use it, take it, go, 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 advocate. So, well, thank you so much, Elaine. Great to have you. Thank you. Appreciate you joining. We know you have a busy clinical day as well. You're on service. So thanks for taking some time to join us.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So many exciting things. It's hard to fit it all in. Thank you for sticking with us, guys. We have a little bit more to do. So we want to welcome in our ambassadors. This is a program that we've rolled out in the last year or so. And these are parents who are committed to being present and there and to care for and comfort and provide resources for families in the community who are struggling. So they are leaders who are taking on the role of monitoring what's going on in the community, providing support, and really looking to help families as they may be struggling or having challenges, and connecting them with critical resources. So we're really thrilled to welcome. I'm going to wait until they're popping up on the screen here, but we have 5. There we go. They're coming in now. We've got 5 moms who have raised their hand and said, I want to help. I want to be there. I want to give back, and I want to be a part of helping other families find support when they're needing it most. And I can say honestly that you all are incredible and have taken a lot of your time and energy to giving back to the community. So we've got Elizabeth Bell, who is mom to Declan. Declan unfortunately passed away, I guess about 5 years ago now, but Elizabeth has stepped up and said, I want to be there for other families. Megan, who's got Chloe, Mary, who's got Billy, and Tammy, who has, oops, wait, hold on a second. Oh, there she is. Kristen popped in and out. Sorry for a second. Tammy, who's got sweet Liam, and Kristen, who's got Pedo. Thank you for joining us, ladies. So you all are out there in the community, you're monitoring, you're watching to see what's going on. You're constantly able to kind of navigate, what's the pulse on the community. And we're just so grateful that you all have taken on that role. All of you have been through training on how to be peer advocates or social workers, know how to really support families. So I think it's really exciting that, and you all come from different experiences and walks of life and are able to provide different support. So does anybody want to talk a little bit about, what it's like being a peer kind of support to your community or what it means to you? Just wanted to give you guys a minute to be up here and thank you, first of all. Mary.
Sure. I'm very recent to this. I'm following in the footsteps of Megan and Tammy, who have been really active, and they are really on the ball with this. So I feel better if they take the lead with it. But it's just important to do as much as we can. That's why I got involved, to feel like I can make a difference and to be available if parents have questions, because we all know that you can't just pick up the phone and call your doctor and get an answer right away. So to have people who have walked this path ahead of us available 24/7 or on a weekend, it's crucial. So I admire Tammy and Megan so much and what they have done. I'm in awe of their availability to families, and I just hope that I can help in some way, filing letters or something,
You are already
supporting
there.
somebody in anything.
Well, Mary, you're a staple in our meetings. And I think, it's powerful when you're able to speak up. Mary's son, Billy, is 22. You've been living on this journey for a long time. And so your strong voice and advocacy are really critical in the community.
And he's a loss of function. So I think we all complement each other because we all have different experiences. Some are gain of function, some are low, or loss of function. So it's nice to be able to work as a group and offer all these different experiences.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anyone else want to chime in?
I will. I just love working with everybody. So many amazing people, and reaching out to families where, like, I know how I felt. I don't want anybody to ever feel that way or not have somebody to talk to. That's why I do it. I want to laugh with people and cry with people, and I've lived it. I've been living it for 9.5 years. And so, if I can just have some empathy with somebody when they need it, that's why I do it. No other
Well,
reason.
You got a comment that you're an MVP. And that
I
we're so
can't
grateful
figure out how to get
So,
into anything,
doing
guys.
something.
I'm
You're there. Tammy,
I love you,
don't worry
Costa.
about
I always say his name wrong. Are we froze?
I think Gabi froze. So if
Oh.
Kristen or Steven or Megan, anybody want to throw a word or two in?
I guess I can. Like Chloe's only been diagnosed for 1.5 years, and so she's 13. So we did this for 12 years, and being welcomed into the community and feeling all the love and support. I want to help other families as they are newly diagnosed feel that same love and support, and also help get conversations going that we see where the issues are. And we've got some of those community chats that I think have helped a lot of families, including myself.
Thank you. Elizabeth, also, I so much appreciate your coming on and helping out. And I'm sorry for your loss, and just love to be able to work a little bit more with you as time goes on, since you've just kind of joined us.
Yeah, I life after you've lost your kid it's different. I always tell these guys, like, I don't know how you do what you do. I don't, because they're amazing. I mean, I get on there and I look at things and I'll respond when I can, but things have advanced so much because of all of you that I feel like I'm totally out of the loop, which is awesome. I love it, because I can't help anybody on like what medications are there and what's this or that, because next month it'll be 6 years. And in 6 years, everything has drastically changed because of what this group does. And that inspires me. When I put this shirt on today, I was like, that says I love someone with SCN8A. And I don't wear it for Declan because he doesn't have SCN8A anymore. He's been released from that burden. I love all of your children that have SCN8A. And I wear this for them. So I'm here for anyone who needs, that kind of guidance. But ask Tammy or Mary or Megan if you need help with doctors or medications or G tubes, because I'm out of date.
Yeah, no, you still have a lot to offer. And we know that you've been there for some families when they're struggling with, some of the later stages and some of those challenges. So we're grateful to have you, and you got a lot of love coming in your way. We're grateful for you. So yeah, I don't know. Megan, do you want to say anything else, or?
We haven't heard from Kristen.
Yeah, Kristen dropped off. So Megan, I just wanted to also share like that. I missed part of what you said, so I'm coming back to you. But basically, you came into this community with like a vengeance. You spent 11, 12 years with no diagnosis, and you finally got one, and you're like, I am in. Let's do this. Let's support. Let's be there. Let's honor. Let's design t-shirts like what you're wearing. And we're just so grateful for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that was fun. Me, Tammy, Charles, you. That was an intense few days.
I know. And we did the Mama Bear shirts. We got some awesome gear. There's a Mama Bear. Yeah. And Tammy's not working there, but we see it.
Mine just keeps disappearing.
I know. That's the problem with backgrounds. It's true. Well, I know we're running behind, but I wanted to so much have you guys join just to give you the spotlight for a few minutes and to say thank you for stepping up. Kristen unfortunately dropped off. I know she's kind of in the midst of an emergency, so like she came in anyway, but Kristen is incredible. She's a social worker and she's been helping families navigate finding things because they're so hard to find resources and things. And so each of you play an incredible role, and we're only going to continue to build this effort and bring, find more and more ways that you are going to bring support to the community. People are in tears thinking about how beautiful this is, all of you are. So thank you for your service to the community, and we will be seeing a lot more of you. You guys are a staple to all of our meetings too, and providing incredible support to families who are in challenging situations and getting them linked to resources and other families. And so thank you for all that you do. We love you guys.
Thank you.
Amazing. All right. So next up, we want to invite in Madeline Uden, who's actually another mom who has a child with SCN8A. She's got Margot, and she is a professor at Tufts and has her own lab there that's been working in cancer for many years. And then what happens when you get a diagnosis of SCN8A? You have your lab start doing SCN8A work. Amazing. We're so glad to have you, Madeline.
Hi, yeah, it's so great to be here and to, be a part of this community and to, I think Michael set the stage so well for what you do when you're a scientist and your child gets diagnosed with a disorder. And so, he definitely was, the inspiration to, follow in his footsteps and, contribute as well. And you all have been so welcoming and encouraging me to join and participate in things. When you first invited me to participate in the core treatment guidance, I was like, yeah, okay, maybe. We're really new to this, so I don't know. But, you invited me and encouraged me to participate, and it's been the best thing. So I'm really grateful, and I'm excited to, be playing such an important role in the community and continue to do that. So I'm, it's been a really great and unexpected part of the journey.
Yeah, well, you jumped in, and I have to say, your lab was doing work that kind of could sort of translate. So you kind of on a dime shifted, and you still do cancer work, but you're creating a mouse model for SCN8A that is really going to help us understand some different ways that SCN8A can present. And you are like rocking the Instagram with your stories. She's famous on Instagram if you haven't found her yet, Margot the Brave. She does such an incredible job of doing really beautiful education for lay people to understand what is life with SCN8A really mean, because we know that, Margot has a lot of challenges, and you really are incredible at sharing that, being open with your journey and the challenges and the beauty and the successes too. So yeah, what made you decide to go so public and be such an awareness raiser?
Yeah, as soon as we got the diagnosis, my husband and I, Chris, decided that we were going to share, because we knew that if we could, just let other people know and other people could maybe help us. And I think that's what's been so great, is that as we told our friends and like our scientist friends, so many have jumped in to help us too. And so not only have we joined, but we've, got other labs all over the world working on SCN8A as well, and kind of contributing their expertise to help us better understand what's going on. And so, we've, just told everyone, and that's just been really great to bring in new people and to have people, offer to work or to collaborate. So being open both has helped, scientifically, and then, sharing on Instagram and on social media has been a great way to meet other families, SCN8A families and other families with, severe epilepsies who are going through similar things, and to connect with people in my area too. So that's been really great, because the online support is amazing, but then being in person too, that's really great too. So I think, we just decided that that's kind of how we were going to approach this, and to, promote the science. And that's the best way that science can move forward, is when you're really open about it, and when you share all the results and the data And, it's just so great when all the families participate and share their data, and it just makes such an impact. And as a scientist, when you can, see that side and hear from the families and be motivated by, problems that are really relevant for them, then it makes the science so much better and so much more impactful. So, I feel lucky that I can experience both sides, and as a scientist that, I can, hear from so many families and understand that and try and convey that to the scientists, like why this is so important and why we want to do this. And so, it's been, a really unexpected, but, really rewarding experience to share, and to help families understand the science as well and break things down and, make it more accessible and explain why this is important, like why, sharing your data for the registry is important, why filling out the surveys is really important, and, that all this really matters and has an impact.
I know we're late, but I wonder if you could give a quick comment about the roadmap meeting that we have. You're, as a scientist, what is the impact of bringing scientists and families together to really understand what the key challenges and priorities are?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, one thing that comes to mind that we've discussed is a lot of the mouse models that we have for SCN8A, really, they have seizures, and that's really great. But we know that our kiddos have so much more than seizures, right? We deal with so many things. And so we need to take that back to the researchers and be like, okay, these are other things. Like, can you study this? Can you, study these different things and kind of broaden what they're working on? And, obviously focusing on the seizures is really important, but we know that quality of life can also be impacted by all these other factors. So I think that kind of constant communication between the different groups can really, help move things forward for everyone. So yeah, I'm really excited to be, organizing this research roadmap meeting and bringing everyone together. It's been just over 10 years since the initial publication from Michael Hammer. So I feel like that's a big milestone and really, exciting time to touch base with everyone and discuss what we've accomplished and, what we still, need to do and help prioritize. And so I'm, really looking forward to that.
I just want to admire your courage, you and Chris. It's not, you just have such a positive attitude, and you have Margot, who has a lot of challenges, and the way you guys can fit all this in and make it just spread like wildfire in the scientific community, just having one or two, and we were lucky to get some other great researchers on early. And we heard from some of them already, but it just seems like you guys have stepped it up to a whole new level. And this is spreading like wildfire. And I just want the community to know how important it is that not only are we spreading like wildfire in the scientific community because of you guys, but we're in the industry community, we're in the and all of us together. And so it's just like somehow we've reached a step along the way that's just blossoming, and you've been really part of that. So thank you so much for everything you do. And I really look forward to the great results and research fruits that you're going to provide all of us.
Thank you.
Yay. And thank you for serving as an amazing board member who's come in and it's just like, let's do this, let's do it. We're working on some big things together behind the scenes that are hopefully gonna pay off. And you've been getting grants for your SCN8A work, which is amazing. And we have no doubt that to go back to your post today for Awareness Day with all showing all your collaborators, go check it out because it's so cool. The people, the community you're bringing in to bring more interest in SCN8A and help us make progress. So thank you for everything. We'll see you soon. Thanks. So we wanted to also try to, I know we're running late. Thank you for sticking with us. If you're still with us, we have a few more cool things to chat about. We wanted to welcome in Costa, who you heard about at the top of the session, and you saw a picture of his beautiful little Layla, and honor the work that he's doing. And despite the Layla not being, with us anymore, but he's just brings tremendous passion and compassion and love to the space that we are in here. So Costa, hello, you are amazing. Costa is also the founder of SCN8A Australia, who's really working with another group of amazing families in Australia to start building a community, not just for Australia, but beyond. So tell us a little bit, Costa, about what you're building in Australia and surrounding areas.
Hi, Gabby. Thank you very much. And what an honor to be here today with you. And I'd also like to begin by extending our condolences to Ivy's family, our very own community. And as I was listening to your beautiful ambassadors, I was remembering being in a hospital with my daughter at night and being able to connect, because it so happens it's actually the day after the 9th in Australia. We're always at night here when you're working. And just that hand reaching out when you're drowning, and how important it was, and how we're standing on your shoulders as we create a stronger web here. And I looked at that heat map that you have of the register around the world, and how there's this dull yellow on Australia, the lights are going on. And I'd like to see that light extend, right? I'd like it to go across the Pacific. I'd like it to go to Western Australia. But we have families that have come together. And when we started this, they said, look, you might get 7 families. Now, I know we have more families, but we've got 65 people in SCN8A Australia on Facebook. We're talking about starting a charity, etc. But to keep it short, because you don't have much time, we're basing ourselves on critical hope. That positivity is great. You've got to move forward with positivity. But critical hope is not just hope in a Hallmark card. It's hope backed by real action, real science, real collaboration. And our motivation in Australia is to collaborate strongly. And our motivation in Australia is to stop the burden on our children of this disease, but also of the treatment and the inertia around accepting treatment and information. And so that's what motivates us, our community, and making sure things are better, like everyone else. But we do stand on your shoulders, and we are green beans, and we do have we have the light kind of coming on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think back up on this, just the incredible way that you advocated for Layla too, and how you have so much that you can give to other families who may be lost or struggling. I mean, I remember talking with you, and I would see printouts from the registry and on the wall and how you use those in the hospital. You say, no, when you walk in this room, this is what we're dealing with here. Don't talk to me about just seizures. You can see she's suffering. She's in pain. You created a pain scale. You made all of these amazing things. And so, I think we are looking forward to working with you on helping families find their voices for advocacy and feel fully empowered to be a voice for their children when they have none.
Totally, Gabby. We're really keen to enable voices, if you like, to enable our parents, to enable the children, to enable everyone in the community by building their capacities to communicate, to speak for themselves. And what I mean specifically is that example you were talking about. When I looked at all the doctors and all the teams coming in, I noticed a lack of empathy. Not that they didn't care, they were busy. They were really busy, so they didn't have time to have empathy. So how do you do that? How do you create empathy in a situation where people are busy? And these questions, I had to answer it by myself, with my partner, with community nurses, and we found solutions. And I'd like to share them with our community, but I want to hear my community's answers, because they're all supercharged heroes that know what they're doing. I'd like to share that. And we're soon having workshops to build those capacities in our parents, but to share how amazing they are, how powerful they are. And we're opening up to the world. So we've got some donations to open up those workshops to the world on what are your superpowers? How do you share them? How do you get more effective at advocating for your child to lessen the burden of treatment on your child? But then also workshops on introducing the consensus. How can you use the consensus as a toolkit? When you go to hospital, when you go to wherever you're going to. And for some of our families, it's a 2 or 3 hour drive for a 1 hour appointment with a child that is not necessarily going to be the same child at the end of the 3-hour drive, right? So we're facing some pretty severe and serious problems that we can solve together when we get together. So those workshops are about how do we use logistically and practically those very crucial, amazing consensus information that's coming through to us. That is amazing. It's a game changer. And then finally, towards the end of the year, commemorating my daughter, we're having, sorry, I just speak through this. It just happens.
Doing amazing.
Layla, the Festival of Mark Making. Layla enjoyed making marks, assisted, but enjoyed them and would recognize them a month later and laugh. And we realized it was her voice. It was her way of expressing her joy, her experience of life. So we'd like to extend that as a festival to all the other children in the world. And we're organizing for an exhibition here in Sydney in September.
In honor of
you're such an inspiration, and let's speak about wildfire. You're lighting a fire in Australia, and it's going to spread to the world. And you're a man of action and operationalize all these wonderful tools and thoughts and ideas, and they're going to spread. You're going to make a big difference to SCN8A. Thank you so much for everything you do.
It's an honor coming from you, Michael. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, we're so grateful that we get to work together. So we'll be seeing more of Costa, and you've got a volunteer in the chat. So look there. Got some, Joanna is amazing too. So thanks for taking time to be with us today, Costa. We love you.
Pleasure.
Okay, we want to take a minute. We're going to wrap up pretty soon, but we want to make sure that we take a few minutes to honor those of you who have stepped up to say, I want to do something. I want to help. And, those of you who have said, we know that funds are critical for research. We know that operating and working to try to run a foundation that is collaborating for a cure takes money. And it does, and that's hard to come by. So I want to invite Charles to come in, who's going to be in conversation with us for just a minute about some of the people who have really stepped up this year and how you can do it too. It's there, all it takes is some desire to want to do something. And whether you raise $100 or $10,000, it's something, and it matters, and it counts, and it's you taking time to advocate from your heart for your child, for this community. So we're so grateful. Charles, chat with us a little bit about what we saw last year. Oh, you're muted, hon. There we go.
Last year we had a really amazing year in terms of engagement. We had people really reach out to us and utilize our technology and our business presence, our organizational presence to enable their voice so that their stories can be heard. And that's really what we're doing. That's what we're doing with our social media. That's what we're doing with our technology. It's not just raising money, but we're trying to enable people's voices. We're trying to allow people to be more engaged with their journey with SCN8A. And also we're trying to raise money, and we did a pretty good job of it last year. Last year we raised about $60,000 in total from smaller dollar donations, not including matching gifts. So we also had some great benefactors last year that two great benefactors that helped us out in terms of matching gifts. And but really it was by far our best year in terms of small dollar donations. We really saw our community engage, significantly. And so that results directly in programs that are funded that result directly in improved quality of life for your children and result in longer life, that result in life itself. And so I'm so grateful and honored to be a part of this. That's why it's kind of hard for me to talk about the money a little bit sometimes because, but you got to pay the bills and turn the lights on. So if you see me having a hard time with this, I just want you all to know that I love your children. I see the pictures of them vicariously. I work behind the scenes and I see your families and I see your struggles, but I also, my job is to kind of share your joys and your struggles with people. So I really see a lot of what this community does. And it's changed my life in terms of, it's given me a mission. And now when I punch in for work, I don't collect a paycheck. I get to make the world better. So thank you. But what we did last year in terms of fundraising is we actually, we had a unique mix of fundraising mechanisms. We had a lot of people from Facebook that did birthday fundraisers or celebratory fundraisers or you know, commemorating fundraisers. And that's one of the things that we have noticed with a lot of small organizations, rare diseases, that Facebook fundraisers tend to be a good opportunity for small nonprofits to make money. So we want to encourage you that if you know, if you're so inclined, reach out to us and we can help you do the fundraising. We can help you with Facebook. We can help you, you know, produce some materials, all of that kind of stuff. We also have some other mechanisms by which we fundraise, and we some platforms, digital platforms that we use, and a lot of that fundraising that we do via email. So if you see emails coming from us, please feel free to forward them to your family members, forward them to anybody that you feel you'd like to spread this awareness. Not all of them, most of them aren't about fundraising. Most of them are about awareness and trying to help people understand SCN8A. So, but even the fundraising ones, please go ahead and forward those to your family members and your friends as well, considering that's my subject matter and what I'm talking about here. Do you have anything you would like to add to this, Gabi? Should we, are we gonna call?
Yeah, no, we're just, I mean, we're so grateful for the community recognizing the need to help us fund the critical questions. It's going to be even more important after we develop this research roadmap with all of our global partners, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be coming to the community, to you all, to say, what do you want most? What is your priority? And then based on those priorities, we're going to have a conversation with clinicians and researchers and pharmaceutical companies and say, these are the priorities for our community. And we're going to have conversations about what are the things that we need to fund to fill the gaps to get us closer to better treatments. And so once we identify those things, we're going to have to be able to say, we want to put money towards finding out how we solve this problem to get us closer to a cure. So there, it's very linear that if we have problems here and we want to get towards solutions, we've got to be able to fund the science to do that. And we have to be competitive. So there's, you know, it's really critical that we do that. And, you know, keeping the registry running, which is a very professional operation. There's a lab, there's people who are working with this data, analyzing this data, asking critical questions and trying to learn more about the community. Those kinds of things require money. And I hate asking for money, but when you run a foundation, that's what you have to do. I think we also wanted to, you know, maybe I'll let Michael say something too, but Charles, did you have a couple of people you wanted or operations you wanted to highlight from this year too?
Yeah, we have a couple of campaigns that I thought would be interesting to highlight, just kind of for their unique nature. First of all, Lynn Baginski.
You have slides.
What's that?
Did you have slides you were going to bring up? Sorry, did you have slides you were going to bring up, or did you have? I think your internet's a little slow. You're a little bit shy. Slides, or maybe I don't know. Michael, I saw you were going to say something, and I wanted to Charles to. I thought he was going to bring up the slides.
No, I just want to thank.
Sorry.
I want to thank Charles. I enjoy watching the process he's going through as he falls in love with SCN8A, and I just want to thank him for being that person and for your commitment to our community.
You're welcome.
It is day and night. He's given up football.
I lost my passion for sports, and my brother's in shock still.
I can't watch games. I've got kids to help. Yeah. All right. Sorry to cut you off, Charles. I think I had a little delay there, but yeah, take us through a few things and then we've got one last thing to wrap up.
Lemonade.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna, I'm having some technical difficulties here, which is funny because I'm the tech guy, but yeah, so I'm gonna talk my way through this. I apologize.
And let's do like 3 minutes. Yeah.
2 minutes. Yeah, we had a couple people just to call out. Lynn Baginski, she put up a virtual lemonade, a physical and virtual lemonade stand for her to raise money. So it's a combination of an online Facebook fundraiser with a lemonade stand in her front yard. And it was a really interesting and unique way to kind of bring her community into SCN8A. Another really unique one, and we talked about it earlier, was the purple pumpkin patch. That's what I call it. But the 12 purple pumpkins that were donated, that was a unique thing and just wonderful. And it really, by far, was our biggest, where we got the most eyes on social media. So people were really interested in looking at the purple pumpkins. So, and thank you to Madeline for that. Also, I would like to acknowledge Matt. What's Matt's last name?
Julias.
Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't want to say it wrong.
Matt and Lindsay, but Matt came up with an idea.
Matt and Lindsay, but Matt came up with an idea. I believe it was in the dad's meeting, right? And he put together an egghead challenge, and so it's been really fun. We have had eggs crushed on 3 continents, I believe, so far. So we're doing pretty good. And it's just a really fun way to engage the community. And lastly, I would like to acknowledge Costa, who just spoke, and he took the opportunity of Layla's passing to reach out to us and ask if we could use this moment to fundraise and spread awareness. And it was very powerful for us internally, and I'm sure it was powerful for him there, because we were able to use our technology platform and send emails on behalf of Costa, do things like that, just really reach out for his memorial service, for Layla's memorial service. And so I want to encourage none of you to do that. But I did want to mention that because of just the power of what it meant for our community, and the actual impact that it means in saved lives and improved outcomes. Sorry, it's hard for me to talk about this. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Charles.
Yeah, thanks, Charles. And thank you, Costa and Madeline and Lynn and all of the people. I mean, Tammy did a great birthday fundraiser, and we have tools to help you if you're interested in saying, I can't do anything, I don't know what to do. Just reach out. We're here to help you. Charles will take your calls day and night to help you get anything set up. So we're going to close out with just a video that we think is really powerful with our partners from the European Federation, Cinzia and Gaby. We wanted to mark with them. It's 1 year since they founded their European Federation, which is a huge deal about, taking a group of leaders throughout the continent and saying, we want to do this together. And there's power in a European Federation. And so just take a few minutes if you have it to watch this video. And it's really a powerful conversation about their commitment to not only building something in Europe, but being global partners that are a part of the work that we're doing with the roadmap planning and building a science advisory board globally that's going to help us fund critical research and push forward the priorities of the community. All Hi, I'm so
take it away.
excited that we have an opportunity to connect today on International SCN8A Awareness Day with our good friends Cinzia and Gaby, who are really helping to run the show for the SCN8A European Federation. We know that this is actually your 1-year anniversary. Congratulations. This
Thank
time
you.
last year, you guys were signing the paperwork. So it's really, really exciting. So can you just tell us why you decided to start the federation, why it's important?
Yeah, actually, we started working together before the sign of the official document for the federation. So since 2020, probably. Then we decided to become an official federation because the first goal is to be a unique voice from Europe and try to coordinate our efforts. So do not duplicate efforts and try to really, coordinate and working together from Europe.
Yeah, that's an amazing vision. When we're so small, we have to make sure that we're speaking in one voice with a shared vision and mission. So I'm so grateful that you guys are doing that in Europe and globally. While you're based in Europe, it doesn't mean you're only working in Europe. So, and this year you guys funded your first project as a federation. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Cinzia?
Yeah, so we founded actually the first project that was the 3-year international multi-center project that is led by the hospital in Dianalund in Denmark, and the principal investigator is Elena Gardella. So this will be actually a natural history study, but a prospective natural history study. And this is important because will help us to understand how the disease will evolve without a specific cure. So we really hope to have a lot of great information. Part of them were a little bit shared in the conference in May in Denmark, actually the European conference. But of course, there was just the first seed, and we really hope that we have more and more information about SCN8A, how the disease can progress, and also a very critical step of the disease. So how to also help pharmaceutical companies to design and develop new treatments, actually.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and there's incredible work happening out of Dianalund with Elena Gardella leading the way. So that's an amazing project. That's great. And yeah, you mentioned the meeting in May that happened, the second European SCN8A, SCN2A meeting, which was amazing. I was honored to get to be able to join you all there. It's quite a feat putting something together like that. So congratulations. It was a really incredible gathering of families and researchers and clinicians coming together to focus in on SCN8A and SCN2A, which are so similar and we have so much to learn and share from each other. So that's amazing. And you guys are working actually on the third one. Gaby, that's coming up next year, right?
Yes, we don't have a date yet, but we are working on it, searching funds, searching a location, and it will be in Bonn, but the rest we will let you know soon.
That's wonderful. Well, I will book my tickets as soon as we have the word. Wouldn't want to miss it.
Yes, we expect you there.
Good. I'm glad I'm invited. Thank you. Well, it's really incredible what you guys are building and how powerful it is to have those conversations for the community and build towards something. It really feels like the momentum for the SCN8A community is powerful right now. We're building really something huge. And I think, you guys, Cinzia, you were involved in the consensus project that we're wrapping up now for trying to really help us understand the breadth and depth of what we know about SCN8A. And one of the things that's coming from that is that as a global community, we want to come together and develop a research roadmap. And so we're working together that this August in Boston, we will be meeting and bringing together pharmaceutical companies, researchers, clinicians, families, to have conversations about what's keeping us from getting closer to better treatments and a cure for SCN8A. And I'm super thrilled that you And Vanessa from Spain will be joining us as representatives from SCN8A, the European Federation. So maybe tell us a little bit about, the idea behind that and why you're excited to join.
Yeah, we decided to join because we believe this is it's a tremendous important project to pave the road to new treatments, and really we really love also the format. So it's very small groups, so 4 small groups working together on different topics, but really let's say committed with the topic, and also to analyze what we can how the gaps are and what we can do to fill these gaps. So that's why I and Vanessa, as representatives of the European Federation, we will join you in August in Boston. Yeah. So.
And it feels like it's a really important step for us as a global community to be working on this big project together and coming together to map this out, so that as we're moving forward, it's not going to be any one group's perspective about, this is a priority, that we're building something together to say, and we'll be surveying families, and we'll be surveying the community in advance to make sure that every family's voice can be a part of what we're building here. But it's going to be really powerful that we can come together as a community for this meeting, and then after this meeting, and say, here are priorities. Here's what's most important for us to answer and for funding research. And then that'll allow us, to all raise our hand and say, I want to help with that. I want to help with this. And then, eliminating any sort of duplication and allowing us to move together as a global community. So I'm super excited for that. And I'm so excited that you guys will be there. I also want to queue up that this Awareness Day, Gaby, you guys have made a special video. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, this is the first awareness video we made as European Federation. So we included all the European families, and our goal was really to give the message how it is to live with SCN8A. And it is a really, really intense, well, our lives are intense, so the video is also really intense. And yes, I think it's a really good message. And we are really happy with the results. So we are happy to show it.
I can't wait to show it. We'll be putting it on in just a second for everyone to watch. And thank you for doing that, telling that story, because it's really important that we see, our kids smiling and our kids, enjoying life. But there's a really, really hard reality that comes with SCN8A. So thank you for telling that.
And that is also the message, that life with SCN8A is still beautiful, still happiness, but also sad.
Yeah.
With sad moments and hard moments. And that is what we really wanted to stress, and that is definitely what we did.
Amazing. Well, thank you all so much. It's always a pleasure to get to connect with you guys and spend time with you. I'm looking forward to another year of amazing collaboration with you all. You are powerful, amazing leaders, and I love working with you.
Same to you. Thank you very much, Gaby.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gaby. Thank you.
You're muted now, Gaby.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, sorry. The timing was a little wonky there. We had hoped, and there's the light, to cue that up to the video, but we had some technical difficulties earlier. But we wanted to share that video because we're so incredibly honored that we get to work with these incredible leaders like Cinzia and Gaby, and there's a whole crew in Europe that are really committed to finding a way to collaborate as a global community and move the entire SCN8A space forward for all of our kids, those who have left us, and we work in their honor, and those who are still here and those who are yet to come. So I think that's one of the most amazing things about the last year. is that this global alliance is built. There are now 11 groups working together around the world: Brazil, Italy, France, China, Portugal, Netherlands, Spain. I'm going to forget people, I'm sorry. But anyway, it's just this beautiful, powerful community that we're building together to say we all want to be on the same page and make sure that we are working in ways so we don't waste money, we don't waste time, we don't waste energy, because those are things that are in short supply. So with that, I think, thank you for sticking with us. This was an amazing event. Of course, it went long because always does. We love to talk. So Michael, Jayetta, any closing thoughts? I'll start with you, Michael, and then Jayetta.
No, I just wanted to show the clock that I got from Kristen and Steven's family, and just thank erniesmancave.com. I can't seem to show it here, but where is it? It's sort of here, but
You can disable your background. You can go to your background and disable it.
oh, okay.
Choose virtual background none.
Choose virtual back. Okay. While I'm doing that, why don't you guys wrap it up? I'll try and get this work.
Okay. All right, Jayetta, some final thoughts? You're muted.
I had the thought that, we heard from so many people who are doing work, but the real power of our community is every one of you. It's every family, it's every experience, it's every story. That's the power of our coming together. It's these stories, sharing and collaborating to make a better life for our children. So we just are so grateful. We want to be there for you, and we want to continue to make progress, and we just thank you all. And what a fabulous clock picture. That is a great one. I love the little hand. Yeah, I'm touching you, Daddy.
Oh, so precious. Kristen, that's amazing. What a beautiful gift. I love her. So thank you all so much. You are our community. We are working because of you, for you, with you. We love you. Please reach out anytime if you need support, if you want to, if you have an idea for a project, or, Charles works day and night. If you are interested in maybe doing a fundraiser or have any sort of idea, we're here for you. And I think 24 is going to be an amazing year for SCN8A.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thanks.